clearly, valued you at the. I think when he won, was it the Grammy or an Academy Award?
The Grammy,
When
yeah,
the
yeah,
Grammy, he
yeah,
specifically shouted you out.
yeah, yeah. Thank
And
you.
that's pretty
Yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah. It
special, and
was,
that was on Time Out of Mind,
yeah,
correct?
time out of mind.
So let's talk about that. So how does that come about, and where are you recording that?
Um, at that time, I was in Oxnard, California, old 1940s porno cinema that has been dilapidated and closed for many years. And I turned it into a studio, and I took out all the seats and kind of, spray painted all the curtains black and made a cool vibe in there. And so I was working out of there, and I had a deal at that time with Lanois that I would supply the location, he would supply the gear. So Dan had all his gear. He let me use, to put in there, and so we had this thing where he had 6 months, I had 6 months. So I'd make some records, and he'd make some records, and so it was at that time. Dylan had asked if I could mix this live show that he did it in Atlanta for the Olympics. And I think that was 96, 97. I can't remember. One of those, when was the Olympics? Or somewhere
96.
96, yeah. So I mixed that for him, and he would drive up every day from Point Dune where he lives, and he just come up in a pickup truck by himself, no security, nothing. And I said, Bob, whatever you do, don't go to the pool hall. And so next thing I know, that's where he goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. He could just walk around the town and nobody knows who he is, and he had the freedom to do whatever he wanted. So that was cool. So right after I had finished mixing that live show, um, one of the last songs, Bob said, there's harmonica on this last song. I said, okay, cool. And he goes, do you think you can make it sound electric? I said, "Yeah, I think I can." And so I took it was done in his vocal channel, and so I just ran his vocal channel into like a little tube screamer distortion pedal and into a little tweed amp, then mic that and brought that back up on a fader. And so when he heard that sound, he really loved it, and he goes, "Oh, it's amazing! I want that on all the songs." So I had to remix the whole live record to
Wow.
put that sound on there, and that sound became what I called the vocal amp. And so that was at the time of after that. That was the beginning of Time Out of Mind. And so he would come in, and while we were doing these mixes, and he goes, Daniel, I want you to listen to this song. And he played on the piano, and but he never sang anything. Dan said, yeah, that's great, but I need to hear the song. And so the next day, Dylan said, oh, I got this other song. I want you to hear it. So he plays it, and doesn't sing anything. And Dan says, like, oh, I really like this one, but I'd like to hear the lyrics of this one. And so he didn't sing anything. And then the next day, we had a friend from New York that came in to because Dylan was interested in doing some stuff. He goes, that kid Beck, I really like his record. I'd like to make a record like that. And Dan says, yeah, we do that. We do loops and all this kind of stuff. And so that's why we brought in Tony Mangorian. Um, he was from New York, and he's a drummer, and he does all that kind of stuff. And so, so the next day, Tony's there and Bob's there, and Bob comes in, and he starts playing this kind of gospel vibe on the piano, and Tony just goes to the kit, and he just kind of plays this like hip hop thing along with it. And so Dylan's playing this gospel chords,
Mm.
and Tony's playing this groove, and then he starts to sing, and I'm always recording, like everything's always mic'd, and you go anywhere close in that room, and I got you. And so I put the machine in the record, and so then he starts to sing. I can't wait, and so
Yeah.
so it's this like gospel hip hop version of Can't Wait, and it's like amazing. And so, but he only sings a verse and a chorus, and so I just took that and made it into like a song. I just copied the verse into the next verse and chorus, so that way you could listen to it as a song. And so, so that became the kind of template of where we were going with the record. And Bob, when he would drive in every day, he was listening to this old blues uh, record radio station, and he says, "Why do those records sound so great?" Like I says, they're very limited, into microphones and what they used in those days, and he goes, "Why can't my record sound like that?" And I told him, "Yeah, it can. We just got to use that approach, and less is more. Like the less microphones you have, the bigger it kind of sounds. And these days, it's like 21 mics on the drums alone, and that all comes down to like small sound. Where if you use one ribbon on it, it's like John Bonham, big sounding. And so yeah. So the song "Can't Wait" was kind of like that was the pinnacle of how it kind of started. We got this beautiful, cool vibe going on, and we did a couple other songs. I think Mississippi and maybe something else that he let us hear. And so yeah, it's great. Let's make a record. And so Bob was excited about it, and then we were all ready to go. And the teatro was like amazing sounding in there. It just was like, you go close to anything and you play it and it sounds incredible. And Dylan says, "Well, yeah, but this is too close to home to make it." He goes, "I want to go to Miami." And so I packed up all the consoles, all my mics, everything that I was using. And we went to Criteria
Hmm.
recording studio in Miami. And that's where a lot of big records had been made,
Sure.
and Oceans by Eric Clapton, and who else
Steve
was
Stills recorded up there.
Stills, yep,
A
and
lot of the '70s rock
yeah, yeah, yeah,
records.
yeah.
Was that Tom Dowd?
Tom Dowd, yep. So